Can you hear me well?
Yep.
Yep.
Du- 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 du. Yeah, sure.
We start.
All right. So,
Mm.
hello, my name is Venice. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to meet you in person today. Your journey has been very inspiring to us, and we believe that this sharing session will give us many new insights. Some people say you don't need to study business in university to become an entrepreneur. Do you agree with that, Michael?
I would say it really depends on the individuals. Some people are born with as entrepreneur feeling, and even without proper education in business school, they will become a successful entrepreneur. In my case, I learned a lot about business during the process of building and growing my own company. And someone with typical business degree, I might not 100% relate to those who don't. But I would say that business covers so many things that would be impossible to be taught at school. However, I feel that the lesson I learned during my university time helped me to know the foundations of the businesses. So I don't have to learn from zero.
Okay, can you share a bit with me about your education background?
I was graduated with bachelor degree in international business from RMIT University in Melbourne.
And why did you take IB in the first place and not the other specific business major?
I always knew that I wanted to be an entrepreneur, which is why I chose IB as my major. I know people often underestimate international business major as seems too general. Some of my friends even took IB because they don't know what to take in the future or what to do in the future. And IB seems to be the safest option. But in my opinion, an entrepreneur needs to know a bit of everything else. And IB major also allowed me to have a taste of a bit of everything in the business departments, from marketing, management, basic accounting, and many more. It gives me the foundation I need to be as an entrepreneur today.
So you know you wanted to become entrepreneur since the very beginning. Did you start your business straight after you graduate?
At first, I wanted to, but I ended up working for an e-commerce company in Singapore for 2 years. But to be honest, I think that's one of the best decisions I took in my life.
So what was your position in the company and what's the best takeaway from working there that helped you during your entrepreneurial career?
So I was a business developer associate, and I gained a lot of experience during my time working there. I learned communication and negotiation skills through brand acquisition projects and practice data analysis skills. And my entrepreneurship skills and creativity were really challenged as we focused on growing the e-commerce platform. These are the skills that needed as a businessman. After 2 years of learning there, I know it was the time to start my own business. And I was benefited a lot by the communication skills I learned in the company. During the early stage of growing my business, as I successfully secured numerous big contracts, as I know how to negotiate with other counterparts.
So your previous job was in completely different industry as your current ones. Does your experience working in the e-commerce company influence your decision to start this business?
Yeah, definitely. During my time in the company, I am exposed to information and skills sets, which help me to identify which industry still have opportunities and how was the competition in the market. Although I didn't learn about technical parts, I still think that plays part of my decision to choose which career to enter.
Do you think it will work out better if you work in the same industry as yours now?
Of course, if I had to work within the same industry as mine now, the progress would be faster in terms of technical and operations. But to be fair, I was not too sure about what industry to enter before I started my job with e-commerce company. Also working within the e-commerce where everything is fast-paced and everything challenged my ability to think faster and act more creativity.
Wow, I can see that you are really clear that you want to be an entrepreneur and your commitment and the dedication to it is inspiring. Do you have any role models who inspire you as an entrepreneur?
Thanks. And well, the inspiration came from different directions. When I was a teenager, I only know that I want to be rich. I want to have sports cars, and I discovered the most rich people and either businessmen or investors. I started reading books like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Philosophy of Money, and many more. Those was when I found myself getting more drawn to business. I also admire Jack Ma. I think he's one of the most renovation influential businessmen in history.
Are there any quotes by your role model which sticks to you as an entrepreneur?
Yes, there is one. It's from Jack. A real businessman or entrepreneur has no enemies once he understands this. The sky is the limit. Often, businessmen worry too much about competition. Of course, I would be worried too sometimes. But this quote always reminds me there's always be competition in the market. Someone could be cheaper than us, someone could be better in quality, but we shouldn't take it personally as it is the nature of the business.
It sounds that you have this entrepreneur spirit since pretty young age. Have you ever engaged in entrepreneurial activities when you were young, or did it only start later?
I think it's in my nature since I was young. When I was in primary school, my parents brought back a lot of snacks from their overseas trip. I would sometimes bring it to school and sell it to my friends. I think that was my first business transactions. And then when I was a teenager, I sold phone cases to my friends at school to get additional lunch money.
So, do you think this is experience influence your desire to become an entrepreneur?
I think so. The experience of getting your own money at a young age feels so exciting. It's definitely boosts my confidence.
So, when is the point where you realize that you want to become a businessman?
When I was entering with my uncle's company, it was a gap period before entering college. At first, I was still unsure about my future career path. I wanted to be a businessman but um, I still don't know what industry that I want to enter. My parents advised me to be an entrepreneur. It's not as easy selling phone cases to my friends. I started to doubt myself and ask whether I have it in me to become a successful businessman. Then my dad asked me to try working with my uncle for 3 months, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. It was so boring every day. I'd do the same thing. I know it was not right for me. I was earning more than I did sell the cases, but it didn't bring me excitement. Every morning I wished I would don't have to go to that boring job. And I and that's when I decided I need to be a successful businessman whenever it takes.
So, your uncle is an entrepreneur. Where influenced to become an entrepreneur because of him?
He was very hardworking, but he could be quite old school. He didn't want to listen to others' opinions. I certainly was not inspired to be a businessman because of him, but he made me realize that I want to be an entrepreneur after we had a talk regarding my 3 months internship. He once told me if you don't like to work with me, it would not be much difference with another workplace. When you work under someone, you follow the directions and rules. If you can't do that, then make your own business where you can set your own directions and rules.
How about your parents? Are they entrepreneurs too?
No, my dad worked in a multinational corporation and pursued the career ladder. He preferred this the stableness offered by working in big companies. My mom is a housewife, so basically no entrepreneur influence from my parents, but they were supportive in whatever I choose.
Sometimes the family support give us a lot of the confidence. What the promoted you to the actually start the project? What key the factor influence your the decision?
So when I reflect on what promotes me to start the medical device venture, it was a combination of profession, observation, and market needs. During my work in bioengineering, I noticed that recruiting challenge. Many hospitals and clinics struggle to access affordable user-friendly monitoring device, and my patients often face difficulties managing their own care at home. This gap between technological potential and real-world application inspired me to take the action. Seeing the efficiencies in existing devices and processes made me realize that there was a clear opportunity to innovate. I want to design solutions that were not only technical, reliable, but also accessible, cost efficient, and easy to use for healthcare providers and patients alike. The motivation was driven by the desire to make healthcare more effective and equitable, while also building a sustainable business. Moreover, the time of emerging digital health technologies and telemedics adoption globally created a favorable environment for launching a startup. I recognize that by taking action quickly and strategically, we could bring meaningful improvements to patient care while establishing a position in the market. This combination observed the needs and opportunities to the market timing become a key trigger for my journey.
I admire how you turned use the professional observation in a business idea. It is the inspired that you the focus on making the healthy device more the affordable, easy to use, and the timely with the digital healthy the trends. What are the short-term and long-term goals did you set at a time?
So at the very beginning, my focus was both practical and experiential. Short-term goals was about survival and validation. I aimed to develop a functional prototype, secure initial funding, and attract our first pilot customer. Each step was very carefully measured. I wanted to ensure that we could demonstrate value quickly. There were those early stage achievements were critical because they helped me to build confidence among other investors, partners, and even small teams I had to meet at the time. Long-term goals was more ambitious. I envisioned a company that could scale globally and improve healthcare accessibility across multi regions. Beyond revenue, I wanted to create devices that was user-friendly, affordable to different medical environments. Setting long-term goals gives me a sense of purpose. It also helped me to guide the directions when unexpected challenge arose. Interestingly, the goal setting was not difficult. I learned to adjust based on the market feedback. The device feasibility and patient needs. Flexibility has become a key part of our process. While the short-term goals were measurable and concrete, the long-term goals served as a vision, something that motivated the team and aligned everyone towards a shared mission. Ultimately, balancing short-term survival with long-term ambition was essential. It allowed me to strategically make decisions without losing sight of the bigger picture. The combination of intermediate milestones and visions, objectives create a roadmap that guided every action during those early stages.
Thank you for your shared goals. You the feasible the approach to set goals is something we can from what are worth execute the toward teamwork, partner, and the follow the due the early the stage of the entrepreneurship.
From the very start, I understood a medical device company could not succeed through individual effort alone. Employees was not just workers, they were co-creators from the start. I thought people who shared our mission, even if they lack of experiences, passion and alignment with value mattered more than technical expertise in the early stage. When it came to partners, I was selective. Collaboration with hospitals, research labs, and small investors were key. I wanted to partner with who could complement our capability rather than barely providing capital. Each partnership was evaluated based on mutual benefits, trust, and potential to advance our goals. Regarding the debt, I was cautious. I preferred using personal savings, small loans, and reinvested revenue rather than taking on large risky debt. Financial difficulties was important, especially since medical device development is internally unpredictable. I did not want to compromise our flexibility or independency. Teamwork and partnership and controlled borrowing together create a foundation for sustainable growth. I learned that entrepreneurship is not just about ideas, it's about relationship and trust that made those ideas real. By carefully selecting employees, partners, and financial strategies, I built a resilient early stage organization capable for overcoming challenges.
I have learned from your cooperative the relationship are very important, and that it is worth learned to cultivate the empathy by the strengthening the relationship, though the teamwork did you initially plan to start the lifestyle business or fast growth the business? Did you plan challenge later?
Initially, my vision leaned towards more on building a fast-growing company. I wanted to create devices that could reach as many patients as possible, rather than simply generating a stable income. From the very start, scale and innovation were priorities. I believed that a lifestyle business would limit our impact and fail to address the larger gap in healthcare that I had to observe. However, as we progressed, certain realities shaped our strategy regarding the timelines, and different barriers and capital requirements slowed initial growth. This forced me to balance rapidly expansion with operational stabilities. While the long-term ambition remained aggressively, the early years required more delicate and controlled steps. Despite those adjustments, the core direction did not change. Our maintained a, we maintained a growth mindset, continuously exploring partnerships, international markets, and product improvements. The difference was in pacing. Early stage operations demanded carefully resource allocation and incremental process rather than immediate scaling. Ultimately, our company evolved as a hybrid, retained the vision of a fast-growing enterprise, but the early stage incorporated lifestyle business principles of sustainability and resilience. This approach ensured we survived early stage challenges while keeping the long-term horizon in sight.
I say that you are pursuing the greater the influence the later that the stable income, which is something we can learn from. We don't have the courage to face so many challenges and that risk behind them. What the financial resource, scale, and network did you have the when start? Did you create the acquire the resource?
Hmm. When I started the medical device venture, resources were limited but manageable. Financially, I had some personal savings and small support from close friends who believed in the mission. While not enough to cover all the development costs, those funds allowed us to build prototypes and perform different testings. Skill-wise, I had a background in bioengineering and some project management experiences, which helped me to coordinate early stage effectively. Network was a crucial complement, component, and I leveraged connections from my university, former colleagues, and individual conferences to gain access to the labs, mentorship, and potential pilot hospitals because formal funding and partnership was shortage at first. Creativity became essential. For instance, we borrowed lab space, collaborated with a local hospital for patient trials without immediate payment. In another case, we exchanged technical services with a small startup to share our equipment cost. Resourcefully extended beyond money and facility. We also tap into knowledge and network, attended workshops, webinars, and seminars to fill the gap in regulation, compliances, and product design. This approach allowed us to accelerate learning and without heavy investment. In this sense, the combination of limit funds, personal skill, and strategic networking become a foundation of our early stage. We will realize that the creativity and resourcefulness often outweighed raw financial capabilities. By creating acquisition on resources and leveraging networks, we managed to progress faster and conventional expectations, laying the groundwork for sustainable growth and future fundraising.
Okay. I greatly admire how you achieve your goals by leveraging limited resources, connections, and skills partnerships rather than relying solely on funding. I think what we lack is more wise choices and problem solving abilities. To what extent did you want to control the company, employees, and decision making at the time?
So in the early days, I felt strong need for control. I wanted to ensure that every major decision aligned with the business vision and mission. For instance, decisions about product designs, clinical testing, and partnership agreements required my direction oversight. This stake were high. Errors could mean wasted time, wasted money, and compromise the patient safety. However, I also understood that micromanaging employees could be counterproductive. I deliberately chose team members who share our mission and demonstrated self-motivation. Within that framework, I allowed them to automate in their own task while maintaining oversight for critical milestones. This approach balanced control with empowered and assuring high quality results without killing any creativity. Decision-making controls were particularly important when navigating requirements and investing relations. I wanted to personally access risk and make final calls on timing, partnership, and financial allocations. Still, I relied on heavily input from experienced advisors and mentors. Their perspective were valuable, helped me to avoid blind spots. Over the time, I realized that absolute control was neither possible nor desirable. The key was structuring delegation, retaining authority over strategic decisions while trusting the team on their own work. This balance allowed the company to grow, innovate, and adapt while staying true to its founding vision.
Okay. And I have seen your seriousness and strong sense of responsibility in supervising the team. How much risk were you willing to accept when you first started your business?
So risk tolerance was a definitely feature of my early mindset. I knew entering the medical device market involved technical, administrative, and financial uncertainties. I was willing to adapt and accept personal and professional risk, such as leaving a stable job and investing personal savings because the potential impact of our product justifying the gamble. Different risk were high. Developing devices that were both accurate and affordable requires many experimental and early prototypes often failed. Financially, I avoid borrowing, but I accepted the risk that personal funds could be lost. The risk was also significant. Navigating approvals and compliances was complex. And also mistakes could delay or even affect the product launch. Despite those challenges, I intentionally sought a calculated risk approach. I performed market validation before major investments, secured partnerships and different testings. I did not shy away from uncertainties, but I structured risk to minimize irreversible losses. The high risk tolerance was balanced by carefully planning and strategic migration. I accepted the unknown inherent in innovation, but made sure that each decision was informed and dedicated. In retrospective, embracing risk while controlling it was essential for growing and also creating a meaningful impact in the healthcare sector.
Okay, I see your outstanding leadership skills in balancing courage and strategic planning, as well as your willingness to make efforts and progress even in uncertain circumstances. Did you write a business plan? Did you feel adequately prepared?
Yes, I wrote a business plan. Through it, I was giving a living document rather than a fixed blueprint. The plan included market analysis, competitive landscape, projected cost, potential revenue streams, and regulation pathways. It helped me to clarify the vision and align the team and communicate with early investors. While it did not capture every challenge we later faced, it provided a structured framework for decision making. Preparation went beyond the written plan. I immersely myself in understanding the requirements, manufacturing standards, and user needs. I attended workshops with mentors and analyzed case studies with similar startups. This hands-on preparation allowed me to anticipate challenges and respond proactively. Despite all this, no plan can carefully prepare someone for the reliability of entrepreneurship. The unexpected delays, funding gaps, and technical setbacks tested our adaptability also. In that sense, preparation was necessary but not sufficient. The combination of planning and ongoing learning and flexible problem solving become a real foundation for early stage success. Ultimately, the business plan served as a compass rather than a map. It guided us in the right direction while leaving the room for adjustments based on real world insights, which create a strong platform for sustainable growth.
Regarding your production plan, I believe it is very flexible. Your approach of combining planning, learning, and adaptability represents a new way of thinking, and it is something we should learn from in our current learning and living environment. How many hours per day or week did you work during the early stages of entrepreneurship? What was your work state like?
In the early stage, working intensity was an extreme. I rotated I routinely worked 12 to 14 hours per day, 6 to 7 days a week. Mornings were often dedicated to prototype development and testings, while afternoon and evenings were spent on strategies, investor meetings, and researches. Weekends were really free, often filled with team discussions, troubleshooting, or planning for the week ahead. The work state was intense but highly engaging. Yet some of the sense of purpose made it sustainable. Every challenge from device malfunction to regulatory barriers felt like an opportunity to learn and grow. Multitasking became a necessity. I frequently switched between technical, managerial, and financial roles within the same day. Stress was inevitable, but I developed coping strategies, brief breaks, exercise, and team support helped maintain focus. I also learned to celebrate small victories, successful testings, possible feedback from hospitals or milestones, achievements to maintain morale. The high workload was both necessary and privilege. It allowed rapid process, close team collaboration, and deep understanding of the product and market. While demanding this product period laid the foundation for resilience, strategic thinking, and growth-oriented mindset that continue to guide the company today.
Thank you, Michael. I have seen your dedication to your work and your ability to transform high intensity work into motivation for your own life. I believe your ability to adapt and develop is truly admirable. What changes occurred in your goals and values as the company developed?
As the company grew, goals shifted accordingly. I just wanted to have my own company free to work without constraints. But as it grew, I wanted to expand it to become a truly large company.
Okay, so when did you suddenly realize this shift in goals?
It was probably when the company received the first major order when I saw entire company cheering. I realized that the company wasn't just my comfort zone, but a shared goal. I decided I couldn't live just for myself. I had to work hard together for all those employees who had dreams. I hope I had lead them to achieve even greater things. They chose to stay with me during my early days, and now they are profitable. I can't betray them or let them down.
Oh, I saw your loyalty to your employees and that you view yourself and your employees as a team. Okay, so are you preparing for your new goals?
Of course, I do. I hope we can make and become one of the top companies in our field. We not only need to continue to grow, but also connect even more upon successful people, learning from their knowledge and lessons, and apply them to our own efforts.
Have your attitudes toward risk and control changed as the company has grown?
The risk is probably lower now than before. A startup will encounter various problems and risk, but as the business grows, the probability of those risks decrease. We manage risk carefully.
Does that mean the super large companies are risk-free?
Of course not. Large companies also have their own risk. Do you know that what a venture capital is? Many large companies try to invest in companies and projects as they were optimized. Think about it. Also known as angel investing. Those this is also carries a significant risk. If the company fails, our investment is significantly lost. Many large companies do this, and they also access the risk when making their decisions.
Oh, I see. So are there any good ways to avoid risk?
The first step is to conduct initial internal experiments to determine the feasibility of the project. Secondly, reviewing the qualifications of all companies or individuals involved and all relevant links to ensure that there are no omissions in any link. You need to be careful on monitoring every part of the process to ensure that there's no mistakes. There's only way to avoid risk to the greatest extent.
Okay, how have you adjusted your work hours and energy allocation as the company has developed?
It was a difficult decision. Everyone knows that starting a business is incredibly time and energy consuming. We spent countless hours thinking about how to grow and improve our company. And during that time, all our time and energy is consumed by work. As a result, we are unable to spend time with ourselves and our family. But there's nothing we can do about it. Sometimes we have to make the choices.
So how do you split your time? Do you devote yourself to work or do you set aside some time?
If I had to choose, I would like to put all my time to my family, but I can't. The early stage of a business are busy and also have many things to consider. Work has taken priority, and I had only check in with my family via the phone. So I barely being home during this time, just finish projects quickly so I can crave out some time. I own them so much during this time.
As expected, people still choose to live their own life more instead of devoting all their time to work. But this is normal.
But there are also some workaholic who dedicated so much to their career that they ignore their family. They don't care about whether their work will be better or where they need to work hard. They just want themselves and their family to be happy every day. Everyone has their own choices, and I respect them.
What assumptions made during entrepreneurship later proved to be incorrect? What major mistakes were made? What lessons were learned?
Oh, that's definitely a problem. Initially, we thought about just need to focus on our own business and ignore everything else. Later, we realized that wasn't the case. We need to balance various factors to achieve success, not just doing it ourselves. If we just work on our own without paying attention to any external factors, we don't we won't be able to achieve anything else. And it might even backfire. I experienced this before.
What kind of setback was it? Can you tell us a little bit about it? How did you resolve it?
We received an order through competition. We didn't think too much about it. I just started working on it. However, we encountered a lot of obstacles along the way. We couldn't figure out why at the time, but later we realized that it was our competitor who were trying to trip us up. Sometimes you just have to accept the relationships are necessary in this world. Although I couldn't understand, there were nothing we could do about it. I eventually reached out to some senior execs and had their advice, and I was able to resolve the situation at the end. Um, this experience taught me a lot about business in general. No man, no wonder why they say business is like a battlefield.
It seems that the pressure from regular orders is indeed quite significant, given the intense competition and various business-related challenges. This situation is truly the same everywhere.
Yeah, I have learned a lot from this. Not everything is simple. Sometimes, even from an ordinary thing, we have to pay a price to complete it. This is not just about money. It can be a relationship or something else. If you have a good relationship with some seniors or leaders, it will make it easier for you to go through the world of business.
What critical junctures nearly led to the company's failure? How did you address them?
Oh, that definitely happens. Every company experienced those kind of crises. Some due to internal decision-making issues, others due to external criterias. I remembered a board of directors was arguing and major shareholders withdrew their investments. The atmosphere at the company was extremely negative, and I didn't know what to do at the time.
Okay, can you tell us why?
I can't share the details, but generally speaking, we had disagreement on this large order. I insisted on completing it ourselves, but the other party wanted us to outsource it and charge a brokerage fee. They felt we couldn't handle the order at our current scale, but I believed that we needed to build our reputation. They didn't want to take the risk, so we started arguing.
This kind of situation are indeed prone to disagreements. How did you resolve the situation? Did you ultimately compete with the order?
Yeah, of course, the order was completed at the end. We both reached a compromise, and the shareholder returned with their investments. We decided to manufacture some of the work ourselves, outsource the rest, strictly monitor our product quality, and the core work was all done by us. We reached an agreement, and the order actually went through pretty well. But it was a scary sense. The board of directors broke up, and the employees were in a stage of panic. It looked like a company was going to disband. Fortunately, everything was resolved in the end.
Thank you very much for taking the time to grant me this interview. Your experience and insights have been very helpful to me.